So good afternoon everyone. Welcome to our second podcast. Today I'm accompanied by Miss Nisha Jane Tortillas and she is here to discuss the topic that we will be tackling for today.
So, yes, thank you, Mr. Yuri. So, our topic will be going to be about studying is hard, learning isn't. And speaking of that, we have three guests who will give their opinions and the facts that they know about this certain topic. So, Mr. Yuri, please introduce them.
So I will now introduce the guests. Let's first start off with Miss Janela Santos. Moving forward, we have Miss Galima. And lastly, we have Mr. Vieran. Okay, so I'm going to be asking you guys on your opinion about this topic. So let's begin with Miss Janela Santos.
Mm, for me, my opinion, studying is a process of learning. You won't able to learn something if you didn't study it, right? It is like a stepping stone for me. The first step to have a valid information about a specific object is to study and research about it. So once you've found the information, it will be easier for you to understand it because you've already analyzed it, right? So that is why studying is hard because it is the process and learning is it because you already have a knowledge about it.
Splendid. Now up next is Miss Galima.
For me, I agreed with the statement. Studying is hard and learning is it. Because in studying, we face difficulty. You need to devote time and concentrate because you need to learn things you need to study. In studying, you need to look for the relevance of what you are studying and that take times for you to acquire knowledge. While in learning, you are in process by which you have the preference already and all you need to do is understand.
That's very intriguing. Now, let's now go with the last person, of course, Mr. Vieron.
Well, for me, I know that studying is hard because studying takes all of my time for other things like playing online games, chit-chatting with my friends, and so on. Well, for others, they know that studying isn't hard. You just have to put some effort into it. And of course, I know that studying is the process of learning. While talking about learning, I know learning isn't hard because learning has some ways. Learning by someone teaching you, learning by watching, learning by listening, etc. Learning is to keep you entertained while you learn something. That's why studying is hard and learning isn't.
Now, truly, all of your opinions are wonderful now, but I'm curious though, what is Mr. Chia's take on this topic? Now, may I ask your opinion about this topic, Mr. Chias?
Okay. So, my opinion on this saying is that it is true that it's difficult to study. But on the other hand, let's all remember that learning comes with wisdom and knowledge. Because you can't learn and you won't learn anything if you won't study. You don't study, right? When you study well, no matter how hard it is, it will continue to bring good results to you, and that is you learning. So, when you study often, I'm pretty sure that your brain will sharpen and speed up, which will lead to faster learning. So, how about you, Mr. Yuri? What's your opinion about this topic?
I knew you were gonna bounce that back, so for me, the reason why studying is hard is because you've already encountered the specific topic while learning is experiencing the newer topic. Of course, we'd be excited to learn something new, but uh, with tests and quizzes coming up, we need to study, which of course we have to go back to another to the certain lesson that we have already studied or tackled. But the thing with studying is that mm, there will be a time where we won't be motivated to go back to that certain topic because we've already tackled it. Now that's the first mistake that people make is that they don't go back to the topic because in their mindset they already know they already tackled the specific topic, but they haven't even mastered it or they haven't known it to an extent that they know every single word of it. Uh, while in learning, you're learning something new, of course you're going to be very curious. So that's my opinion on why studying is actually hard while learning isn't. Okay, so now that we have heard everyone's opinion, let's now move on to their knowledge about this topic. Now we gave them time to research about this topic, so we will now hear some citations of facts from what they have learned on this specific topic. So, again, let's begin with Miss Janela Santos. So, Miss Janela Santos, what are the facts in this topic based off on your research?
The fact that I've learned is learning is a necessary tool that feeds our mind and calms our spirits. It is necessary for both personal and professional careers since it allows us to better comprehend and handle situations in life. And learning aids in the development of critical thinking abilities, in the discovery of diverse methods to interact with people from various cultures. It is the only way to deal with the constant change in our lives and move forward without difficulty.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about you, Miss Galima?
Based on what I've researched, most of the students are studying hard but they can get a bad grade. It might sound strange, but studying hard doesn't automatically mean you're going to ace your test. It's just a part of preparing for an exam. The most common reason students get bad grades despite studying are you're struggling with with the test anxiety. You're not studying to understand. You don't start studying early enough. You're trying to do too much. You're missing a study plan. Lastly is you only study for exam.
Understood. And lastly, we'll have Mr. Vieran's take on this, the facts that he has researched on.
Well, based from some people, it's more crucial to properly psychoanalyze your professors so you can obtain a better idea of what you have should study to pass their assessments. If we're not talking about college, we study because we are passionate about the subject and what to learn everything there is know about it. It's more important to correctly psychoanalyze your teachers so you can figure out what you need to study in order to pass their exams. We study because we are passionate about the subject and want to learn everything there is to know about it. If we are not talking about college, huh?
Again, truly amazing to hear those. But then again, I also want to hear from Miss Tortillas' citations of facts about this topic.
Okay. So, based on Daniel Willingham's research, that 44% of students in college, as they reach the 4-year college degree, they will start working, right? And on the other hand, the other 66% of students in college leave college not because they have financial problems or either they lack of financial support. But the research simply reveals that the thing that makes a college quit and stop studying, and that is probably because most students are not given the opportunity to learn on how to study correct. And when they study the way they know, if it's really wrong, they cannot change it and they will continue to fail to learn because they don't know, they have no idea what's right or wrong in learning or in studying rather. So, Mr. Yuri, what facts that you've researched about this topic?
Okay, so mine has been based off of multiple people that I have researched on. So they say that studying is hard because um, they have been experiencing pressure and stress from studying because they want to achieve a higher grade than below, of course. Now, while learning is easier for them because they can just list them down in their heads because they're learning something new, they're becoming curious. Uh, the mo- the most contributor to the main problem of studying is not just the school, but the problem in your personal life. So let's say mental health, family problems, etc. So those are usually some of the reasons why that contributes to why studying is also hard. There's also the your mentality or your I mean your mindset on that specific way of doing things. So like when you just study hard, it doesn't mean that if you study very hard enough, you'll achieve a lot of great scores on your tests. You should study smarter. You don't have to study very hard on that specific thing. Now, uh, they don't actually have to stick onto that negative mindset of uh, having a hard time to study. They have to stick to the mindset where if they study well, they won't have a hard time studying anymore. So, now that we have heard each and everyone's opinions and facts, we will now conclude everything. So we'll first start off with the opinions, and with the opinions conclusions, we'll now have Mr. Thesis to discuss this topic. This opinion conclusion.
Okay, so based on the opinions I heard from all of you, we all have the same opinion on this topic. And it's true that it's really hard to study. But our guest said that it's also up to the student on how can he think and how can he approach this situation. So our guests also wants to convey that everything can be done. You just need a lot of perseverance and motivation to study. So, yeah, proceed, Mr. Yuri.
Okay, so based on what I have heard from their citations on facts, it is hard to study because not everyone knows the correct way of studying. So like study hard, and, not do not study hard, just study smart. Uh, they should at least try to learn the right way of studying, and not just studying, and also learning. So that is all for the conclusions and the podcast. I hope you all enjoyed and had fun listening to our podcast. Now, as always, take care and stay awesome. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.